Hi, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and you're watching TheVog.net. It's a beautiful April day in South Florida, temperature just coming up to around 85 degrees, and look what the wind kicked in. I have a surprise visit from one of our Canadian Vog members, BobbyG. Bobby, it's a pleasure to meet you, and you've gone on quite a journey to get here, all the way from London, Ontario. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your adventure?
Okay, I started out from London in 29 degrees and some ice fog. By the time I got to mid-Ohio, it was tolerable, and by Knoxville, I decided to jump over to the coast to stay away from the rain. It's been following right behind me. Been great since I've hit Florida.
Now it's obvious you're riding your Harley. Now we've known you for many years of having a Ness Vision, and you still have that bike.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, you took that bike last year to Alaska.
Yes, I did.
Okay, Bobby, let's take a minute. Why don't you go through and tell us about your bike?
It's a 2000 FLH TCUI. It is fuel injected. It's got the 88 engine in it. I've done a few modifications. I did add the mid-frame heat deflectors, which really help with the heat off the rear jug at slow speeds. Put the shorter aerials on it, extended the brake pedal, shortened up the heel peg to make it a little more comfortable for me. I'm still debating. I may change the seat out, or I'd like it back another half inch, just to give me the room.
So what was your motivation in buying this? Because after all, you have a 2009 Ness Vision.
It was actually on a whim. I was, since last fall, I've been looking really hard at the new Kawasaki Vaquero. I sat on it 3 times. Local dealer offered me a great price on it, and it's a nice bike. It's solid. It's well built. It just didn't speak to me. And while I was looking at it at one of the local shops, I happened to come across this, and it just caught my attention. Another member, Canterbrain, has gone back to Harley. He talks them up quite a bit. He doesn't lie much. So I thought, well, I'll pick this up as a project and weekend bike, and ride 8 or 10,000 miles in his shoes and see what he's talking about. Previously, I've always liked the look of Harley-Davidson, but I lightheartedly took shots at them as far as power and reliability. I'm having to reassess that.
So now you put enough miles on this bike to compare it with your Vision. What are the pros and cons of each?
There really is no comparison. You can't compare an 09 Vision to a 2000 Harley-Davidson. What I'll talk about is the pros and cons of each, what I like and dislike about them. As far as the Vision, it's a beautiful bike. I can't see anything that I would trade it for or replace it with. It has a couple of issues. Anybody who has a Vision realizes that in the engine area there's some exposed fine wires that are a little worrisome. They don't look like they're going to be too waterproof over the long haul.
Okay, Bobby, why don't you tell us about a couple things. First, let's talk about the wind management.
It's actually pretty good. These batwing fairings, because of the last little flip on here, seem to throw the air much higher than, say, on the Vision, inch for inch for the windshield. This is a cut down stock windshield, and it's cut down to about 9 inches. And I would have to be on the Ness, have the windshield up a couple more inches than that to get me the same wind blockage.
What are these side wings you have down here?
These are louvered. What they'll do is, in one position, it will throw the air across your legs and pull the heat away. At the intermediate position, they'll throw more air up into your chest area, and totally close, they block it.
Okay, and then let me ask you this about the mirrors. How do they compare?
I'm already accustomed to the Vision mirrors being mounted in here, so it's not a problem for me. One of the main problems for me in the first couple of days that I rode this bike is the turn signal issue. You still, coming off of any other type of bike, you go to turn right, you start moving your left hand. So there's a bit of a brain fart until you get used to using it on that side.
So overall, apples to apples, how do you compare this versus the Ness Vision wind management?
I'd have to say in its totality, I'm a little more protected with the Ness with the windshield higher, but this is still really adequate.
Okay, let's talk about storage now. A lot of people talk about the Vision specs. Now you have a comparison. What do you think?
These have a little more storage space than the Vision, but I find with both bikes, if you have the fitted bags, you'll get a lot more in. And the King Tour Pack on this is marvelous. I've got all my wife's stuff in there, plus a laptop, plus room to spare.
And how about riding comfort of both?
This is comfortable. When I bought it, no, it was unrideable to me because the brake lever, your foot actually sat underneath it. So what I did is put an extended brake lever that brings it out an inch and down. And also the heel toe, I had a shorter heel section made so it doesn't lock your foot in between that.
How would you compare the handling, both around town and on the highway of each bike?
The Vision handles really well, and it handles at highway speeds. It's like you're on a rail. I mean, this is a shorter wheelbase bike, so groove pavement will make you jog back and forth a little more than say on the Vision. It does have narrower tires, so you're susceptible to that, the problems that can cause. It corners well. I haven't found the need with the 5-speed, which I thought I would, is having to downshift to pass. No problems at all. Fifth gear, she will run from 75 to 95 and pass a truck without any problems whatsoever.
How about the passenger comfort? What sort of input have you gotten on that?
None yet. Today's the first time my wife's going to be on the back of it. I'm a little curious as to how it will handle. I'm not finding the bike top heavy at all. It may be with a passenger there.
Now, a lot of people talk about that it's a shaker. What do you think?
Definitely. It's definitely a shaker at idle. Once you're moving, that all goes away.
If you could change anything about this bike, and granted, it's a 12-year-old bike now, what would you change about it today?
I think a little bit larger boards. And I noticed yesterday I was in Daytona at the bike shop there, and the newer models do have the brake pedal out front of the board instead of partway into it.
Do you think you were spoiled by your Ness Vision with the larger board?
Yeah, definitely.
How does the riding position compare to this in the Vision?
Surprisingly comfortable. I put the highway pegs on it because pretty much everything I've ever ridden, Gold Wings included, I needed that to get stretched out. I'm finding that 90% of the time I'm in the standard seating position on this and comfortable.
Now, is this the stock seat or has this been upgraded?
No, this is a stock seat.
And when you purchased it, how many miles did it have on it?
52,000.
Wow. And you're going to be adding how many more miles on it in the next few days?
Somewhere between 8 and 10,000 depending on side trips.
So this is just a small trip for you?
It's one of the trips I'll take in a year.
Now, this is an occasion trip for you. You're celebrating, aren't you?
Yes, it is. It's my 25th wedding anniversary and my wife's birthday.
Well, congratulations. Now, my understanding is in just a couple of hours, she's going to be flying into Fort Lauderdale. Then you're going to pick her up, and then where are you guys going from there?
Well, she just texted me. I was worried about her getting her flight out of Chicago, but she's on it and on her way. When I pick her up in Lauderdale, we'll head for Key West for a couple of days down there, and then come back up through Florida, across the top of the Gulf through Texas and over to Las Vegas.
Hey, that's quite a trip you have planned. When do you expect to be back home?
Sometime after the Easter weekend.
By the time you get home, it's going to really start warming up there.
I hope so.
Well, BobbyG, I want to tell you, it's a pleasure meeting you. I want to wish you a happy anniversary. Hope you have a safe trip. And I got to tell you, this is a gorgeous bike. You know, when you look at it, for me, I'm not an expert on Harleys. I was a little surprised when you told me that this was a 2000 because it looks fairly new, and the paint is in gorgeous shape. I tell you, before we go, tell us a little bit about this color.
What it appears to be is a Firefighter's edition, but when I try a touch-up kit on it, the Firefighter is a little bit darker than this. The paint on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle is amazing in comparison to a Victory. They really have to do something there. My Ness, with 2 seasons on it, is already showing wear through the clear coat on the side of the tank where your leg touches, that type of thing. I mean, this bike's 11 years old and the paint's in better shape.
Well, I don't know if the camera will do it justice, but I'll tell you, there's a nice shine to this bike. I know you got it cleaned up for the segment, but it really looks good. Okay, now we're going to do something that we should do in every video. We want to hear what it sounds like. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a break for a minute. We're going to take a listen to BobbyG's 2000 Harley Ultra Classic. And Bobby, let me take a minute. Thank you very much again. Hope you have a safe journey. We'll see you back online. For thevog.net, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and I'll see you on the road and online.